Hey, and welcome to Suspended Fanimation. It's another Saturday morning blast off, and I'm your host, Dennis Patholkis. Thank you for joining me. This is pretty much where we talk about anything and everything genre. It's been kind of a slow week this week, you know, according to movies and news and things like that, because of course it was Christmas week this week. So, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas to everyone, and a Happy New Year to everyone that's coming up. And thank you to everyone who's here in the chat. I see Movie Fanobi, Kato Roan, Feisty Fan, Sculpted Leather Art by Viking Bitch, and I saw Slurmy in here too. Slurmy Scott. Hey, how's everyone? And Jody. I forgot about Jody. That's right. Jody was floating around in here as well. Thank you all for joining me this morning. And hopefully everyone's doing okay and not snowed in. I know in the East Coast there, you guys are getting ready to get hit by yet another storm. So hopefully everyone can hear me well on this. Let me know if you can't. I'm not seeing anything on my end here. There we go. So let's get to some of the news here. Man, it's, I talked last week about Keanu Reeves talking about being Wolverine, and who says this week they want to be Wolverine? Daniel Radcliffe. Yeah, Harry Potter himself says he wants to be Wolverine. Why? I don't know, because he's the scrawniest person I've ever seen. I don't think he can actually pack on any muscle, to tell you the truth. Well, not without a lot of drugs. That's all I'm going to say. It would be a huge mistake, Movie Fanobi. I really don't know how he's going to, how he would portray it. I would rather see Keanu Reeves, to tell you the truth, before I would see Daniel Radcliffe. Because, it doesn't work right. And again, like I said, John Bernthal might be available fairly soon, because I'm pretty sure The Punisher is going to get canceled after this second season. And by the way, The Punisher is going to be premiering on Netflix in January. So next week. There's no exact date on when that's coming out, but it's coming out in January here. That's what we know. Yeah, someone asked me this last week. Who would I pick as Wolverine? Who do you guys think would be a good Wolverine? Again, like I said, John Bernthal is the first person who comes to mind. Other than that, I don't want a wrestler. I don't want, some meathead that's been in sports and stuff like that. Because, yeah, great. You've been in sports. It rarely translates over into film and acting. Sorry, it just doesn't. It's very, very rare that it happens. I mean, look at Jason Statham. He was a soccer player, but he had been injured, and he's gone on to make a really good action film career for himself. But it doesn't take if you look at the Meg was very tongue-in-cheek for a reason. I know he wanted more blood in it and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, there's a reason why I went tongue-in-cheek, because that's pretty much what he's in. He's like action comedy is what he is. Jean-Claude Van Damme for Wolverine. Yeah. I don't know, man. He's wow. Scott Eastwood for Wolverine, huh? Feisty Fan. I don't know. He hasn't been given many speaking roles, and every speaking role that he's been given has been cut to a non-speaking role. So I really don't know, to tell you the truth. John Hamm, maybe. Put John Hamm in the role, or maybe he's a little too old now at this point. It's really kind of a toss-up at this point. Who knows at this, everyone's throwing their hat into the ring. And then again, who knows if they're even going to do another Wolverine movie. Yeah, Clint Eastwood for Old Man Logan. No, Clint Eastwood's got to be Bruce Wayne in Batman Beyond, is what he needs to be. And then you can have Scott Eastwood as Terry McGinnis. And I think that would work. That's what my casting is for Batman Beyond, is Clint Eastwood as Bruce Wayne and Scott Eastwood as Terry McGinnis. I think that would actually work a lot better, to tell you the truth. Yeah, the Old Man Logan stuff. Yeah. I don't know, man. For Old Man Logan, you can actually bring back Hugh Jackman at that point. Yeah, I know he's only 50 years old, but still. I mean, you can age him up a bit with some makeup before he gets too old. So, some other news here. We just got confirmation that Jude Law is going to be playing Mar-Vell. Big surprise. It's probably one of the worst kept secrets, but he's the leader of Star Force in Captain Marvel. It's so weird. They've got so many different storylines going on here. I don't know where they're going with this. I'm not really looking forward to this movie, to tell you the truth. I'm really, really not looking forward to this movie. There looks like there's too many different storylines crammed into one 2-hour movie. And if you really want to see a mess of storylines, go and watch Aquaman, because that is really messy. Because it's got something like 14 different storylines from the comics that they've brought into it. And it plays that way. It plays like someone just went, and we're going to add this in, and we're going to add this in, and we're going to add this in, and we're going to add this in. And it comes out turning out like a greatest hits or highlights of stuff, but not done too well because it doesn't focus on anything. And when you don't focus on anything, you get a shitty story. Yeah, well, Jude Law is good in some things, not in everything, but in most things. Movie Finale, bring him back in his 70s at the gym. I don't know if you want to bring back Hugh Jackman in 20 years for that. Kato Roan says, canonically, doesn't Wolverine speak with a heavy accent? Not really. He's actually born in the States and then went to Canada where he lost his memory. He lost his memory after the whole Weapon X program thing. And so he's over 100 years old because he was born in the 1800s, late 1800s in the States, and then went to Canada to hide out. And so he doesn't have an accent really. It's just there. I know different. I mean, the old 90s cartoon, the old 90s X-Men cartoon had him speaking like an Australian for a little while there. And then there's some that try and do, the Canadian accent, which there really isn't, depending on where you're at, where you're from in Canada. There are some accents, but not really. And then, just keeping with the non-denominational accent, I guess you could say. Viking bitch. I liked Clint Eastwood before he started preaching about politics. That whole thing with the chair, I was just like, "Where the hell are you doing, man?" It just was weird, and he is very short in comics. He's like 5'0". Wolverine, by the way. So very, very short. Mufinobi says Jude Law is good. They're trying to backslide it into too much in the timeline. Yeah, they are really trying to fill, since it takes place in the 90s, Captain Marvel, going back to Captain Marvel here, they are trying to fill in a lot of backstory as to why she's not around now. And then they're going to add in this whole, the whole Star Force thing is, I'm pretty sure that's what it's going to be, is that she has gone off to go and work with the Star Force or lead the Star Force, that kind of thing. And it's going to be a very weird shoehorning into the Marvel universe. So I'm not sure where they're going to go for that. Yeah. And Wolverine is not very Hollywood. He's supposed to be ugly, short, and very hairy. Yeah. He's not a pretty person, but he is the best at what he does. The Viking bitch says, I sometimes have a Canadian accent. It comes through osmosis from being so close to Canada. It might be the Canadian water that comes in through the border. They need to build a wall up there to keep that Canadian water from coming in. uh, yeah, you betcha. Exactly. And speaking of Marvel Universe, I don't know why they did this, and I don't know when they did this, but supposedly the Marvel movie universe has annotated Loki's character bio. So it's now says the scepter that he was holding that had the mind control gem in it uh, is not only was he affecting other people's minds, but it was affecting his mind as well, causing him to hate Thor and human beings. So yeah, so they basically just they made an out for Loki to be a good guy now at this point. And I'm pretty sure they're doing this in, for there's a TV series that's coming out for the D plus or Disney plus, however they're going to call it. I call it D plus because it that sounds a little bit better, and also it's probably going to be the quality of their programming that they're going to have at first. And yeah, it's just really weird that they've gone ahead and annotated that to make him okay. So now he was mind controlled by the mind control gem that he was wielding, that was given to him by Thanos, because Thanos was actually supposedly mind controlling the mind control gem that he was holding. You with me on that? Yeah, it doesn't make any sense at all. Oh man. Yeah, it is called a dam. I know that, where they hold water and all that kind of stuff. It's usually done by beavers and longshoremen, but that's a different story altogether. Yeah, Tom Hiddleston is pretty awesome. I remember when he was dating Taylor Swift. I was actually at Comic-Con and almost literally bumped into both of them as they were coming out of a building. They were coming out the back door of a building. There was a whole bunch of people that were surrounding this doorway. And all I was trying to do was trying to get through because I was trying to go to lunch, is really what I was trying to do. And I was making my way through the crowd and literally almost bumped into Taylor Swift. I almost stepped on her foot. I didn't know who it was at first. I kind of pivoted around her and just kept going. I kept walking. And she looked at me very oddly. And I was like, yeah, I'm just trying to make my way through. It happens a lot, actually, for me at Comic-Con, is I almost step on celebrities' foot or bump into them. I bumped into Ron Perlman by accident. He was waiting outside for his limo. I got stuck up against Olivia Munn. This is when she was with G4. Yeah, I know it's a horrible thing to be stuck up against Olivia Munn. I ended up somehow in the middle of her entourage of people. I was just trying to make my way to the parking garage, quite honestly. And got stuck in the middle of her entourage as we're crossing the street. And I mean, literally, they were surrounding her. I got pushed up against her. And then they realized who I was, that I wasn't with them. And I got pushed back out again. And I'm like, hey, man, I'm just trying to cross the street with everybody else. Yeah. I was with Ron Perlman. I was talking to somebody and I took a couple steps backwards. I wasn't looking where I was going. I was really outside in front of the hall. It wasn't hall H. It was a couple doors down. I think it was like around hall D. And I bumped into somebody, because you bump into people every now and then. I turned around, oh, I'm sorry. And then I realized it was Ron Perlman. And he kind of gave me that look, that he's famous for when he looks over his shoulder and has a cigarette. He had his cigar in his mouth at the time. And I was like, oh, sorry. And I'm like, and I saw who it was. And I was like, oh, really sorry. And he kind of shrugged me off, and I walked away. So yeah, it's happened before. Yeah, I've almost run over people's feet at Bob Hope Desert Classic when I was doing some work there. There's a lot of celebrities that were there. There's been all kinds of weird celebrity run-ins with me and over the years. But you're not here to talk about that or listen to that. So some other Marvel news. Clint Barton, who of course is Hawkeye, has been confirmed. We've actually seen the artwork for it now. to be Ronan in Avengers Endgame, in case you were wondering. And it's no surprise to anyone that he is actually going to be Ronan. I haven't gotten any restraining orders, Slurmy. Yeah, I haven't. So time will tell, though. We never know when that's going to happen. So, yeah, he's going to be playing Ronan. Big surprise. Everyone thought it was going to be Cap. And a Cap, of course it's not going to be, because Endgame takes place, I believe, they said it's either 4 or 5 years after the snap is when it's supposed to take place. And so little by little, a lot of story is actually leaking out of this one. It's kind of unusual. And I don't know if Marvel is leaking this themselves or if other people are doing it. It's really weird. Yeah, Ronan is Disney's PG-13 Deadpool without the jokes. I'm not a big fan of Ronan. I thought Ronan was kind of a meh character in the comics, and I'm not looking forward to it either. And yeah, we already had the PG-13 Deadpool. It came out this Christmas, and I don't think anyone saw it because everyone knew what Disney was trying to do. Is they were kind of floating it to see if they could do a PG-13 Deadpool, and no, nobody wants to do that. So, no celebs came into my old comic book shop. So I was out in the middle of nowhere for the most part. So no one would come into that shop at all, other than college students. That was it. Excuse me. No one has any right mind going up to Sacramento whatsoever up in that area. So, and I was outside of Sacramento. So. Yeah, I know. Yeah, a few celebs. I mean, granted, yeah, adieu celebs, feisty. I haven't even found it yet on any of the shady sites. What are you looking for, Kato? I didn't understand what you're getting there. So, but yeah, they should have just released the Fred Savage supercut on YouTube, or they really, what they should have done is they could have released it as a video on demand, or they could have done it as an extra bonus footage or something like that, and still donate all that money to charity. I would have gone with video on demand. I would have paid $5 to see it on video on demand. That was about it. I wouldn't pay anything more than that. And I heard that the Fred Savage stuff was funny, but I wouldn't have done it myself. I wouldn't have gone into the theater. I didn't go into the theater to go and see it. So yeah, the only thing I saw over the holidays here was I finally saw Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which was really good, even though I had to move seats twice because of people in the theater. Man, people in the theater now are just freaking horrible. So literally some guy taking pictures of the screen with his freaking flash phone. I'm not kidding you, during the movie. And yes, I did like it, other than having to get past all those people. And if everyone stayed until the very end of the credits, I had a good laugh at the very end of the credits there. And also a nice little surprise with one of the spiders who showed up. Yeah, movie Fanobi. It was assigned seats. You pick your seat, and but still people come in. They walk in and they'll late in the theater and all that kind of stuff. And this guy, though, he was sitting in his assigned seat, but just was being an asshat. That's all it was. He really was. I even, at one point I turned to him. I'm like, "Really, dude?" And he looked at me and he kept doing it. And I was like, "Seriously?" Yeah. But yeah, being rude has become people talking in theaters, people bringing babies, like infants, into theaters. I'm sorry, but if you bring a kid that's less than 3 years old into a theater, they are not going to sit still for a 2-hour long movie. I don't care if it's animated or not. Wait till it comes out on DVD. It's going to come out in 3 to 6 months anyway. Then you can buy it and you can watch it at home. And that way the rest of us don't have to suffer. They really should raise child prices, under three and under, to $20 a ticket. That's all I'm going to say. That way, if people really want to bring their kid in, they pay the premium for it. Or have your children only showing, where it's children 8 and under. That's it, and their parents, and that's you can do that. That's fine with me. Yeah, I like to watch it at home, but I really wanted to see this because I needed to wash the taste of that briny shit that was Aquaman out of my mouth. It was, I still think about that and about how bad it was. There was some stuff there that was good, but there wasn't enough in Aquaman to really make it a good movie. It was just really bad. And I know it's like the number one movie right now, which really sucks because this is the way that DC is going to be going now with its movies, is to throw as much. I guess they threw too many storylines in. Like I said, there's like 14 different storylines in Aquaman, and that's not the way to go. And honestly, James Wan, he's great for horror movies, I guess. And I know Annabelle made a appearance as well in Aquaman. He sucks at action movies. That's all I'm going to say. He just honestly sucks at action movies. So, yeah, Watership Down is way too violent for kids, as all of us who grew up in the 80s knew. 70s and 80s. Yeah. Watership Down wasn't made for kids. It was just a way of getting it out there. It's beautifully done. The original animated movie. I know they're doing a 3D version of it that's coming up soon too. But no, that movie is not for kids at all. Unless you want to traumatize the shit out of your kids, that's the best way of doing it. And that's the thing that gets me too, is that parents see something that's animated and they're like, oh, it's for kids because it's animated. No, it's not. It really isn't. Just because it's animated does not mean it's for kids. Look at the fucking content first before you bring your kids to it. Yeah. It's movie Fanobi. It's pretty brutal. That's all I'm gonna say. Think of Game of Thrones only with rabbits. There you go. Only a lot more violent, and because they actually show the action versus just about talking about it, like Game of Thrones does. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff out there, man. There's stuff out there that has scarred many a child out there. Yeah, Bambi too. All the kids crying when. Did you hear about the guy? There was some guy recently who was him and his family were caught poaching deer, and I guess he's in the hundreds of deers that he was poaching, and he got something like a 5-year sentence, and I guess or no, he got a 1-year sentence. And part of that sentence is that he had to watch Bambi every day for a month. That's what the judge made him do. Which I thought was kind of funny. But baked bunny is tasty, huh? Yeah, there's no way in hell I could eat bunny, rabbit. I have my own horror stories about rabbit, so I'm not going to go there. Yeah, Slurmy, that's good that you actually screen your niece's movies. And that's what, people need to do. You need to screen, movies for kids sometimes. It does happen. It was kind of funny. I had a person that had a small child at work that I used to work with, and she knew that I would go in and watch, Marvel movies or animated movies and that kind of stuff. And so she would always ask me if it was okay for her 7-year-old at the time. So I'd tell her, what it's about and all that kind of stuff. And she'd make a judgment whether or not to bring her kid to it. So, and no, I never, intentionally omitted out any kind of, horrible scenes or anything like that. What age rating would I put into the Spider-Verse? There's a lot of death in it, honestly. Well, death and trying to get, I would say for Into the Spider-Verse, you could do 8 years old if it's a mature 8 years old, depending on, but I would say 10 is, 10 is about the right age on that one. That's definitely about the right age for Into the Spider-Verse. It's violent. It's got some good humor in it, and it doesn't water it down. That's the whole thing. It doesn't talk down to people, and that's exactly what you want out of an animated film. I mean, sure, there's stuff out there that can go for little kids, but the thing is, adults aren't going to like those movies and shows. I know I don't. Uh, yeah, for an animated Spider-Man movie, it was great. It was great. I don't know if it was the best Spider-Man movie for me. I still like Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, but that's just me. And yeah, the Stan Lee cameo was pretty good. Exactly, Kato. The Stan Lee cameo was good. Change your mind, huh, Feisty? uh, it's all about opinion. I mean, everyone has their own opinion. If you think it's the best Spider-Man movie, it's the best Spider-Man movie for you. For me, it wasn't. It was a good Spider-Man movie, but it wasn't the best Spider-Man movie for me. It was still the Raimi Spider-Man that is my favorite. And I still like Spider-Man Homecoming as well. I know a lot of people don't like Tom Holland, but I loved Spider-Man Homecoming. I thought it was actually a lot of fun. And I like Tom Holland as Spider-Man. You can compare live action animated in some respects, but for the most part, yeah, they are two different animals. It's just a different media to tell story in. That's really all it is. And I know animation gets a lot of stigma from adults. They're like, oh, it's for kids. No, it's not. It's just another media, a different way of telling stories. Same way comics is different from novels. Novels are different from movies, etc., etc., etc. So there you go. Viking bitch, I've only seen the first Furious movie. You should probably just leave it at that. They don't get any better, honestly. They get more and more ridiculous. I think, what is it, in number 6 or something like that, they have a flying tank. And then they have the world's longest runway, because literally they were driving down that runway for 5 minutes, having a fight as they're going down the runway. And who knew that the runway was 500 miles long? Yeah, Movie Fanabi says, I just mean you have to appreciate them and what they can express. They have far less limiting factors in animation. Yeah, you can get a point across, like Into the Spider-Verse, when you have Miles having his thoughts coming up in not just bubbles, but also in the captions above him, kind of like you do in the comics, and they're floating past as he's, thinking them. I thought that was actually really cool. They did a really nice job, and it's a different way of doing it. Same thing, if you want to go and see that same kind of context in a movie, a live action movie, there's a movie called Bunraku with Ron Perlman in it, Woody Harrelson, and Demi Moore, where they do the exact same thing. They actually take the subtitles for the Japanese speaking characters, and they place them underneath, and they kind of float. It's really cool. It's very, very cool the way they did it. Feisty fan. The first thing I said to Sam Raimi when I met him, where's your brother? I love Ted Raimi. Yeah, Ted's pretty damn funny. He does a lot of weird stuff, but and he's kind of trapped in the 50s, which is weird, but he's good. Yeah, Slurmy. Tom Holland is really good. I liked him in Avengers Affinity. I liked him a lot. But you got to disagree about Runaways. It moves too slow. Yeah, Runaways is very slow. I didn't say it was great. It's the best that Marvel has on TV right now, especially when you take a look at Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is that show that will not die. Speaking of which, season 6 had just finished wrapping filming earlier this month, and now it's rumored that season 7 is going to go into production in February. Why? I have no idea. From what I heard, yeah, Agents of Zombies, it really is. They're splitting season 6 into, because I know they're going for the smaller, shorter seasons. They're only doing 10 episodes, if I remember correctly. And from what I heard was that season 6 was being split into season 6 and season 7 because the actors are renewing their contracts after season 6 here. Yeah, it is Agents of Zombies. Seriously. Really, Kato, you're still watching that show? I know. Okay, I'm still watching it too. I hate to say this. I'm watching it to see if it's going to get better, and it never does. It always seems like it's trying to suck me in, and then it disappoints me in so many different ways. I wanted to like the last season. It didn't do anything for. I don't even remember, honestly, the last season. That's how bad it was for me. I just kind of obliterated it from my memory. If I can't remember it, if I can't remember what happened when I'm actively thinking about it, it's not a good thing. Yeah, movie Finibby. I like Peter's introduction in Civil War as well. The movie as a whole is flawed, but it's a lot of fun. And yeah, I actually like the way they did the animation of the eyes. To give you a little more, of the comic book sense of how Spider-Man does his mask and things like that. I like that. I don't know if I'm the eternal optimist, Viking bitch. I think I'm far from it, honestly. Excuse me. Yeah, and the whole thing is when Bobby left Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Mockingbird, why didn't they bring her back? Oh, I know why they didn't bring her back, is because she went off and did her own, now she's in another series or something like that. So the actress isn't available. Because they were going to do their own spin-off series, and that never came about. Yeah. Yeah, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Slurmy, there's no reason to go back to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It was supposed to be a tie-in to the Marvel movies, and that never materialized. After season 1, they pretty much gave up that concept and decided to go their own course, and it still isn't clear whether or not they're part of the MCU or not. Even though Coulson's going to be back in Captain Marvel. See how it came back around again? Oh, sorry about that. Didn't mean to hit everything. But yeah, it all came right back around again to Captain Marvel. See how I do that? Yeah, Future Man is so much better. And we get new episodes coming up on January 11th, which I will be covering. Yes. So other news about Punisher, we were talking about Punisher earlier here, premiering in January, is that the Billy Russo character is not going to be called Jigsaw for some god-unknown reason. They just said that they're not going to do Jigsaw. Don't know why. Why they're not going to call him Jigsaw. So, yeah, exactly. Very lame, Feisty. They're gonna have a whole bunch of, as the actor said, who's playing Billy Russo, he said that his mind is fragmented in a Jigsaw in a way, so it's Jigsaw-like, but he's not Jigsaw. So what's the point, honestly? And I also had read that they thought that the Punisher was going to be canceled pretty much after season 1 because of the whole Las Vegas shooting, and that never happened. So it's going to be canceled after season 2. Then, I mean, Netflix is canceling all their Marvel series. Excuse me. So, really, Pen Farm Girl, you prefer the Warburton version of? Well, the Warburton version is close to the cartoon version, really, because they were able to take some of the cartoon version and take some of those characters and actually morph them into the live action series. But since they're both owned by Fox, as Ben Edlund had said, he actually now has right disputes with Fox, so he can't use certain characters. Like, you're never going to see Batman Well or Deflator Mouse or anything like that because those are owned by Fox. Hey, Filthy Farmer, the Filthy News is here. How's it going? But yeah, it is seriously, every single incarnation of the Tick, the comics, the cartoon, both live action series are awesome. And yeah, Batman. Well, uh, uh, Carbonell is his name. Excuse me. Fun fact: he was the mayor of Gotham in the Nolan Batman series. So I thought that was kind of funny that he ended up playing the mayor in the Batman, the Nolan Batman series. So yeah, it's pretty damn good. If you haven't gotten a chance to see it, go and see it. I believe it's on Fox or it's on Hulu or something like that. I know Fox has their own app as well. Actually, it is on the Fox app. Yeah, I remember seeing it there. So definitely go and check it out. I think it might even be on Amazon now at this point too. So yeah, the new Tick was in the Guardians. That's true. He played one of the Nova Corps, and they're talking about doing a spinoff now of Nova just by himself in the MCU. So who knows if that's actually going to happen or not. Right now, Marvel's kind of I think they're in a little bit of free fall after Avengers Endgame. I think with Avengers Infinity War, they kind of expected it to be a downer, but they didn't expect it to be as much of a downer, and I think it's kind of hurt them a little bit. And now they're trying to scramble to see what they can do for their next phase after Avengers Endgame. And they're doing a little tweaking, or actually doing a lot of tweaking on it to see what they can do. And I don't think it's going to be for the better, to tell you the truth. Oh, excuse me. So the producers of Bumblebee said that there's going to be both an animated movie about the early days of Cybertron, like the origin stories of Cybertron, if you will. And they're also going to do a live action standalone movie about Optimus Prime if they can figure out a storyline for him. Yeah. How that's going to happen, I have no idea. And I still haven't seen the new Bumblebee movie. Yeah, I know, Viking bitch, I do need some tea. There we go. Just needed to clear that thing out. I was actually there we go. So Filthy, you actually saw Bumblebee, you thought it was good? Oh, everyone would be interested in an Adam Warlock movie, Kato. That I'm surprised that they didn't do that. I know that's what James Gunn wanted to do, was he wanted to bring Adam Warlock in the second movie, and it didn't work story-wise, I guess it was, and so they didn't do it. They introduced the character in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, or actually the sarcophagus now, and the creatures that created him, if you will, even though it wasn't from the comics, but still. But yeah, I'm actually kind of disappointed they didn't bring Adam Warlock into the movies either. Yeah, I heard Bumblebee was really good. I just didn't get a chance to do it. Pen Farm Girl, I've heard Bumblebee is really good. Is a really good bomb. Huh. So Bumblebee was the first movie we needed, and we needed more Cybertron. So they did Optimus Prime right, huh? That's what you're saying, Filthy? That's good. Yeah, the first Transformer movie that Michael Bay did, I remember seeing it. So I knew people at the time that were working at ILM that were working on the visual effects. And I guess Michael Bay, this allegedly, just in case anyone's watching from that group, he would go through the dailies of their VFX that they were doing and go, who's responsible for this? They're fired. Who's responsible for this? They're fired. And so it got to be kind of a running joke that all the VFX people that were working on Transformers were like, wait a minute, you can't work on this. You've been fired. And yeah, it was crazy insane. I guess he had something like, there was 1,400 moving parts when they were doing the transforming bits. So there's 1,400 moving parts that are going on the screen as you're seeing these Transformers transform. And originally it was up to 10,000. But they were saying it was just too busy for the eye to catch everything. So they dumbed it down to 1,400. Yeah, that was very impressive at the time. So, yeah, Viking Bitch. I mean, honestly, it was cars for boys that transformed into robots. Excuse me. But yeah, it was very, very weird. It needs a high frame rate to run. Yeah, it needed like a 4K, honestly, to watch it. Yes, I will drink more water. I am. I've got my water here. It's early still, so it's early for me. I know not for a lot of you, but it is for me. Yeah, the animated movie from '86 was really freaking good and did have an amazing soundtrack. But yeah, so they're going to do a live action standalone Optimus Prime movie. So I don't know how that's going to go, quite honestly. So all of you have seen Happy, right? Season 1. It's on Netflix right now. You can watch all of season 1 of Happy on Netflix, which is really damn good. So season 2 just announced that Weird Al Yankovic is going to voice a character named Smoking Baby Man in season 2. Of course, this is going to be another imaginary friend, and he's going to be exactly the opposite of Happy, from what I understand. Yes, kiddo, I know. I'm very interested to see how it's going to be, how it's going to work out. Season 2 is going to be a lot of fun, especially since they're doing Easter is the theme. So we had Christmas for season 1, Easter for season 2. I guess they're just going to go on. I mean, what they have all the different holidays they can do. So it's pretty good. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, Feisty or Filthy, go and watch it on Netflix. It's there. All 10 episodes are up. It's really good. Watch the first episode, see what you think of it. It's very, very non-PC is what I'm going to say. And it's very wrong, but very funny at the same time. And the guy who plays Very Bad Santa, Joe, is one of the nicest guys you will ever meet in person. I actually got to meet him both. We did an interview with Catherine LaFrere, who plays one of the sirens of Sussex County in the show. And Joe ended up coming over because he doesn't have a TV, so he was going to watch the season finale with her at her place. And so we interviewed him. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, that interview. And I got to meet Joe live at Comic-Con. I saw him coming up the stairs, and it was just one of the nicest guys. So definitely looking forward. I guess he might be coming back in a flashback or something like that at some point in time, but yeah, nothing that we know of him coming back, of course, because of what happens with his character. That's all I'm going to say. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. So what else do we have here? So yeah, the Smoking Baby Man thing does kind of remind me of Roger Rabbit as well, with Baby Herman and his cigar. So that's going to be an interesting take. But Weird Al Yankovic, man, I mean, come on, him doing a voiceover work. It's like Pee Wee Herman. Paul Rubin has been doing a lot of voiceover work on Legends of Tomorrow lately, and I guess he's going to play himself because they're going to go back to the '80s at one point in Legends of Tomorrow, and he's going to play himself as Pee Wee Herman on the show, which I'm really looking forward to as well. Viking Bitch says, I freaked John out by asking a question in the chat for Catherine. Dennis asked my question in a much more polite way. Yeah. I know a way of asking questions nicely. As someone once told me, I had written a paragraph uh, of something, and someone actually wrote back to me. The person who I was responding to wrote back to me and says, "You know, that might be the nicest way I've ever been told to fuck off before in my life." I was like, "Great! I'm glad you got the response for that. I'm glad it didn't go over your head." Yeah. So it's just a way of phrasing it. It's what is it? Diplomacy is a way of saying "nice doggy" while reaching for a rock. Uh, or diplomacy is the way of saying "go to hell" in such a way that people look forward to the trip. Yeah. So my final bit of news that I have here is I don't know if anyone's been watching The Walking Dead or not, but if you haven't, uh, you've probably seen the news, and I'm gonna spoil it right now. Is that Rick Grimes did not die? So uh, he got carted away. He went off in a helicopter. We don't know to where. He disappeared someplace, and because Andy Lincoln, who plays Rick Grimes, he lives in England. His family's in England. He wanted to spend more time with them, so he, you know, wanted to stop the show. So yeah, he is going to be in a Walking Dead movie, and that Walking Dead movie of Rick Grimes is going to show up on AMC. It's not going to theaters. It's going to be an AMC movie. Is what they finally confirmed. So I'm looking forward to that. I've been watching it. The whispers are actually interesting. Yeah, if you don't care about it, it's I've been reading the comics for so long, so since the beginning, and yeah, and so if you're not really interested in it, it's not gonna pay that much attention to it. But hey, I'm interested to see where it's gonna go because they left that really up in the air, so to speak. No pun intended. You have trouble quitting Pen Farm Girl? Yeah, I do too. When it comes to Agents of Shield, that one I really just need to drop. I really, really do. My eye twitches every time I think about Agents of Shield. Yeah, Filthy. Last week I actually talked about that, about Nick Nolte voicing an Ugnaught. He's also going to be doing. It's going to be a practical effect. So there's going to be a woman with an Ugnaught mask on. Nick Nolte is actually going to have a facial prosthetic on that, whatever facial expression he's doing, and his voice is going to be coming out of. It's going to be animating the puppet that is on her face, and she is going to be lip syncing to whatever he's saying. And I guess it works fairly well, is what they're saying. It's a weird choice, but I was like, all right, if that's what you want to do, yeah. Oh, that's your saying, Viking bitch. Go ahead and spoil the shit out of it. Yeah, there's other people I'm looking out for too. Yeah, and IG-88 and the League of Assassin Droids or Droid Assassins. The I forget what they call them now. The droid something or other that has been it's a cabal of droid assassins. So yeah, it does almost sound like a parody of itself, but hey. Um, it's kind of funny. It's going back to The Walking Dead. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, the whispers look really, really scary," and it's like, no, not really. I mean, it's par for the course. If you've been watching Walking Dead long enough, it's really not all that scary. It's I don't know. Maybe I'm just kind of immune to it now at this point because they've been on for so long and it's zombies, and but yeah, it takes a lot now to kind of get me out of that jaded mode when it comes to zombie movies. Yeah, it is a soap opera with zombies. Well, the whole thing about The Walking Dead was it was never about the zombies, it was about people interacting with people. That's what it was supposed to be about. And he was, as Kirkman said, he based this off the old Romero movies and said, okay, what happens, you see the Romero movies in a 90-minute, 2-hour time frame, but what happens afterwards, like rebuilding society and all that kind of stuff, we never get to see that. And that's what the comic was supposed to be about. Yeah. Yeah, that was Alpha Filthy is what we see Alpha sewing her suit together, her flesh suit. Yeah. But I love that Greg Nicotero, who does all the special effects and also directs a lot of the episodes as well, he does homages to all kinds of different movies. So he did the original Night of the Living Dead a few episodes back with the burned out truck and the corpses inside the truck, which I thought was funny next to the gas pump. He also did Evil Dead 2, which he worked on, by the way, with the cabin that was out in the woods that had the deer head on the wall, and also a book that was bound in leather that was laying off in the corner of the cabin there as well. Excuse me. Yeah, he's done it with a few different things. Yeah, I love iZombie too. So Pen Farm Girl, iZombie is awesome. The season 5 that's coming up is going to be a new. It's going to be their final season. So yeah, I'm kind of, excuse me, kind of bummed by that. But what can you do? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is going to be in it though, which is going to be awesome. And he is so freaking tall compared to Liv, because there's a picture of him on Instagram, on his Instagram, I believe it is, where he's standing next to Liv, and she comes to like his waist. So she is very, very tiny compared to him. So, no, I don't mean the shitty remake, Filthy News. That doesn't exist in my world. That shitty remake of Evil Dead. Yeah, yeah, I know everyone says, oh, well, it was a really good movie. Yeah, if it was a really good movie, it would have gotten a sequel. That's all I'm going to say. It didn't. And I'm a big, big fan of the actress who was the main character. I can't remember what her name is. She was in Suburbia, the ABC show for a while. That was actually really good. She's now on Castle Rock, is what she's on now. Yeah. Yeah, Pun Farm Girl. Definitely. I mean, iZombie's getting a little long in the tooth, though, too. You can't have really stellar episodes. I'm actually happy that they got 5 seasons and that they're going to go out. They know this is the last season. That's how they're going to go out. So I'm happy with that. I'm very happy that they're going to, they know it's ending and they're going to actually have an ending to it. And it's just been a lot of fun, especially with Major being on Wrestler Brain. Oh yeah, and he was completely and totally channeling Macho Man. It was pretty damn funny. If you haven't seen it, that's up on Netflix as well. So go and see that as well. And it's also for free on the CW app, as you can go and see it there. So, what else is everyone into right now? What's going on? What are you guys watching out there? Yes, I am going to cover Balderdash at some point. It's just when I get enough time to sit down and watch it. I'm still doing Future Man recaps, so that's taking up a lot of time too. And I'm still doing Runaways, so that's taking up some time. And then I'm going back to work again on the 2nd, so of course that's going to eat up a lot of time. Any further thoughts on Timeless? Like I said, they rushed quite a few of the storylines together because they only had 2 hours. That's all they had. And I would have liked to have seen another season where they could have worked all this stuff out. But instead, a lot of things kept like, okay, and we're wrapping up this timeline, and we're wrapping up this, and we're wrapping up that. They did leave it open for another TV movie or show. Excuse me. But I'm not too hopeful that that's going to happen. I liked where they ended it, though. They did a good job of ending it, and then having it go into the future and having them start the whole cycle all over again, I thought was actually pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, you could tell that some things were meant to happen in the second half of a season, and they just really had to they really had to zoom through it. Yeah, Orville is for tomorrow. That is correct. Orville is on for tomorrow. That's right, Kato. So that is going to be on, they say after football. So who knows when they're going to do that, or if they're going to. I would be really pissed because they do this every now and then, especially for Fox. Fox will cut into the TV show a bit because of football, because they need to interview players going, how'd you play today? I thought I played real good. I thought I could have done better. Or, that was really kind of fun. I'm going to Disneyland. You don't need to have that shit. When the game's over with, end the fucking game, go to the TV show. I don't want to care. I don't care about what the players are saying or anything like that. Yeah. I really don't care about football. And obviously, from the dwindling numbers, neither does anybody else. So, yeah, The Good Place, I think, is on a season break. I think it's a mid-season break, Kato. And I can't go back and review all those. It's just too much. And otherwise, I would. And there's too much new stuff that's coming out. I want to do Project Blue Book when that comes out. Of course, Future Man Season 2. Happy Season 2. And there's so much stuff. Orville, of course. Yeah, there's just too much stuff coming out. And not enough time in the day to watch it and podcast about it. Yeah, speaking of which, Filthy, Blacklist, that was a show that should have died like about 4 or 5 seasons ago. I watched the first season of that, and after that I was just like, yeah, I don't need to do it anymore. So yeah, exactly, Movie Fanobi. There's so many channels on. They could send it to the ESPN Ocho or something like that, along with foosball tournaments and ultimate frisbee and hacky sack and whatever else they want to show over there at the Ocho. And dodgeball. Slurmy Scott says, I watched Tidelands from Australia. It is porn with a plot. The sirens call men to their death, and then they have half-breed babies, all beautiful bodies. Well, good for you, Slurmy. I'm glad you've got a pastime there. That watching porn. Pen Farm Girl, I still feel 2 episodes of Doctor Who are leftover timeless scripts. Yeah, I know which ones you're talking about, and I honestly, I don't watch Doctor Who. It's pointless, to tell you the truth. It's bad sci-fi, and I'm just, it has no interest for me. So, yeah, James Spader, I don't know what happened to him. He used to be a good actor, and then he just kind of phones it in now. He's there for the paycheck. You can tell he's just there for the paycheck. Nothing else. Yeah, Blacklist has been around for a freaking long time, Pen Farm Girl. It's been around, God, I want to say it's over 6 years. I know it was before I moved down here to Southern California that it's been on. So, yeah. But I just don't know how long. Trying to think what else is coming out. Yeah, Michael Shanks was the better Daniel Jackson. He had a lot more to work with, though, to tell you the truth. I mean, he got a chance to flesh out the character a lot more. Just like Richard Dean Anderson was the better Colonel than Kurt Russell. I mean, Kurt Russell was good, but he was a little too. I think it was right after he came off a soldier, so he was still kind of in that mindset. And I like Richard Dean Anderson's character a lot better. He mellowed out a bit. And wasn't taking himself too seriously, which was really good. So with that, I'm gonna call it a day. Let you guys get back to your day. And if you guys like what you see, go ahead and subscribe. Hit the like button as well, and also the little bell. I think, where is it? It's over here. Is it over here? There we go. Down there. So I will be back later on today, 5 p.m. my time, 5 p.m. Pacific, to do episode 6 of Future Man. And I will also be back tomorrow to do the Orville as well as Future Man episode 7. So the Runaways I'm going to be doing, as I'm not going to be doing live streams of those. I'm just going to do them. I'm going to record them and put them up. If you get a chance, I've actually put up the Legion panel from San Diego Comic-Con of this year. I put it up in its entirety. I am working on right now, and I'm probably going to do this for New Year's. Daft Punk was here at Comic-Con in 2012 for Tron Legacy. They did the soundtrack for Tron Legacy, and they were in a bar. I shit you not. I was staying in a hotel down here with a friend of mine and another friend of mine who lives down here in San Diego. We decided to get in touch with and go and hang out with. And I was like, well, what bar do you want to go to? And he's like, oh, let's go to this little place called the Air Conditioned Lounge. I'm like, all right, never heard of it before. Went in, cheesy little bar. I mean, it fit maybe 100 people in there. And the DJ at the time was like, yeah, it's my birthday today, and Daft Punk's coming in. And we're like, what? Did I hear that right? And so we're like, okay, we're going to stay if Daft Punk's actually coming in. I don't know if I actually heard that right or not. And so then we see these two skinny German guys come walking in. I mean, they're dressed in black and everything. I've actually seen them without their masks on. And they're bringing in equipment back and forth, back and forth, back and forth from the door. And sure enough, Daft Punk played a freaking hour and a half set at this little tiny place that, like I said, fits maybe 100 people, 150 people. And people just started texting people and all this kind of stuff, saying, Daft Punk's here. And a buddy of mine ended up recording a good majority of it. So I've got the video for that. So I'm going to put that up there. And like I said, I'm going to put that up for New Year's. That way you guys have some music to rock out to as you're ringing the new year there. And thank you to everybody, by the way, who's here today. Kato Roan, Slurmy Scott, Sculpted Leather Art by Viking Bitch, Moo Fanobi, Jody, who I saw in here, The Filthy News. Spread the word if you guys can out there. I have a website that I still need to work on. Honestly, it's suspendedfanimation.com. I'm also on Facebook, where I'm doing a good majority of it. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I'm everywhere. When is the Olivia Munn video going up? She already has enough videos up as it is. That's all I'm going to say. No, there's no Olivia Munn video. I honestly was just walking literally was walking to the parking garage that was across the street. This is back when you could actually park in that area and not have to pay, what is it now? I think it's like $50 a day in order to park anywhere near there. And I just ended up getting, everyone saw who it was and they started rushing towards her, and her entourage was around her, and I got squeezed in and pushed up, and yeah, it was very horrible. No, it really wasn't. If you've ever seen the crosswalks at Comic-Con, they're just nuts. That's all I'm going to say. They've actually closed off that street. This year was the first year they actually closed off the street, which is really what they needed to do. Yeah, Slurmy, I know I need to get the website done. Honestly, I'm not the best at websites, so it's taken me a little while to get that stuff done. Yes, I know there's places out there that help you build websites and all that kind of stuff, but they also take a lot of money to do that, unfortunately. So I'm working on it. Slurmy isn't the best with technology. All right, people, I'm gonna let you go, so don't let the door hit your ass on the way out, and I will talk to you later on today. See you, everybody.